Imagine possessing the power to buy entire nations, yet finding yourself too destitute to purchase a future. Connor Hughes had billions in the bank, but his bloodline was dead. The only person capable of saving his empire? The woman scrubbing the floors of his office. She was hiding a secret worth more than his entire fortune, and he was about to declare war on her, completely unaware that he was attacking his own blood. We live in a cruel world where a person's value is often measured by the weight of their wallet, not the kindness of their heart. How many times have you watched arrogance crush innocence? This story touches that open wound. It is about the silent struggle of a mother against a system built to destroy her, and the painful journey of a man who had to lose everything to discover what truly matters. This is the saga of Connor and Victoria. He is a rich dad desperate for a legacy. She is a fierce single mom protecting her secret baby from a toxic world. What begins as a cold business search for an heir transforms into an emotional hurricane of betrayal, exposed secrets, and a shocking truth that will leave you breathless. Brace yourself, because this isn't just a love story, it is a battle for the soul of a family. But be warned, the truth never comes free. Before the redemption, there will be public humiliation, ruthless lawyers, and a confrontation that will rip your heart in two. They will be pushed to the absolute limit, where money cannot save them, and only unconditional love can survive. You are going to cry, you are going to feel rage, and you are going to cheer louder than you ever have before. If you believe that justice must prevail and that love is the greatest wealth of all, you are in the right place. Let's build a community of hope right here, right now. Comment legacy if you think family is worth more than money. Like this video to support every warrior mom fighting in silence. And subscribe to the channel to witness this twist of destiny. Let's dive into this story right now. Connor Hughes stood alone in his glass-walled sanctuary, looking down at the city he practically owned, yet feeling utterly bankrupt inside. The board's ultimatum had hit him like a physical blow: produce a legitimate heir within the quarter or watch the Hughes legacy be dismantled piece by piece. For a man seen as the ultimate rich dad, the irony was a bitter pill to swallow. Had billions in the bank but no one to leave it to. It was a heartbreaking realization that all his sacrifices might have been in vain. The silence in the room was heavy, filled with the ghosts of opportunities missed and a love story that never quite happened. He needed a miracle, or perhaps a shocking truth from his past to save him now. The pressure was mounting, turning his usually sharp mind into a chaotic storm of regret and desperation. He had spent years building walls around his heart to protect his assets, only to find those same walls had become his prison. Without a hidden heir to present to the vultures circling his company, he was vulnerable in a way he had never experienced. It felt like a cruel twist of karma, punishing him for prioritizing profits over people for so long. He poured a drink, his hand trembling slightly, not from fear, but from a deep, resonating anger at his own biology. If you were in his shoes, honestly, how far would you go to save your life's work? Desperate times called for desperate measures, and Connor found himself considering options that made his stomach churn with unease. His lawyers suggested a contract marriage, a cold transaction to secure a bloodline, but the idea felt like the ultimate betrayal of his own values. He wanted something real, something that spoke of unconditional love, even if he wasn't sure he deserved it. The clock was ticking louder than his heartbeat, a constant reminder of the family drama playing out behind closed doors. He needed a plot twist, a sudden shift in destiny that would rewrite the grim ending currently scripted for him. He began to sift through the wreckage of his personal history, searching for a lost love or a forgotten fling that might hold the key. Faces blurred in his memory, none sparking the recognition of fatherhood until a vague image of Victoria Thompson surfaced. But that was a lifetime ago, a chapter closed with silence and what he assumed was mutual indifference. He dismissed the thought quickly. Surely, if there were a secret baby, she would have come for the money by now. Yet, the uncertainty gnawed at him, fueling a billionaire romance narrative in his head that felt more like a tragedy. The city lights below seemed to mock his isolation, shining bright while he felt engulfed in shadow. It's a specific kind of pain, realizing that your empire is nothing more than a dust castle if there's no one to inherit the throne. What one word describes the feeling of having everything and nothing at the same time? Connor felt that word settling deep in his bones tonight. He was a king without a crown prince, a man praying for redemption in a world that rarely offered second chances. He needed a lifeline, and he needed it yesterday. Little did he know, while he paced his ivory tower, the universe was already conspiring to answer his plea in the most unexpected way. The threads of fate were tightening, preparing to pull the rug out from under his carefully constructed reality. While Connor fought for power and legacy, someone else was fighting for survival just miles away, holding the very key to his future. The stage was being set for a reunion that would shatter his world and rebuild it from the ground up. As the night deepened, Connor made a vow to himself he would not let his father's company fall, no matter the cost. He would turn over every stone, chase every lead, and face every shocking truth necessary to secure his line. He didn't know it yet, but the solution wasn't in a boardroom strategy or a legal loophole. It was wrapped in the innocence of a child he didn't know existed, a hidden heir waiting in the wings of a life he had left behind. Miles away from the gleaming towers of the financial district, Victoria Thompson was fighting a very different kind of battle. Her life was a masterclass in survival, a stark contrast to the billionaire romance world she had briefly touched years ago. As a single mom, every dollar was a victory, every meal on the table a testament to her resilience. She lived in the shadows, fiercely protecting her son, Leo, from the toxic reach of the Hughes family. It wasn't just about money, it was about shielding him from a family drama that had nearly destroyed her. She looked at Leo, sleeping soundly in their small, drafty apartment, and felt a surge of unconditional love that took her breath away. He was her secret baby, a hidden gem she kept tucked away from a world that would only see him as a pawn.
The fear of betrayal was a constant companion. She knew what Connor's world did to people, how it chewed them up and spat them out. She had chosen poverty over the soul-crushing machinery of the Hughes empire, a decision she made with no regret, only fierce determination. But the walls were closing in, bills piling up like snowdrifts against the door of their humble home. Victoria worked double shifts, her hands rough and tired, yet she never let Leo see the strain. To him, she was just mom, the source of all safety and warmth. Hit the like button if you respect the silent sacrifices mothers make every single day. She was living a love story of a different kind, one between a mother and her child, forged in the fires of hardship. She knew that revealing the shocking truth of his paternity would solve their financial woes. But at what cost? The threat of discovery was a specter that haunted her every move, making her look over her shoulder constantly. She knew that if Connor found out about his hidden heir, he would descend like a storm. She remembered the heartbreaking cruelty of his parents, the way they had looked at her like dirt, and she refused to let that darkness touch her son. It was a heavy burden to carry, a plot twist in her own life that she had to manage alone. She was the gatekeeper, the only line of defense against a destiny she was trying desperately to rewrite. Sometimes late at night, she wondered if she was doing the right thing, or if she was denying Leo his birthright. But then she would remember the coldness in Connor's eyes the last time they spoke, and her resolve would harden. She was teaching Leo values that money couldn't buy: kindness, empathy, and integrity. She was raising a good man, not just a rich dad's replacement. This was her redemption, her way of righting the wrongs of the past by creating a better future, one day at a time. Yet, life has a funny way of testing your resolve just when you think you have things under control. The universe, or perhaps karma, was preparing to challenge Victoria's fortress of solitude. A job opening, seemingly random, was about to cross her radar, a lifeline disguised as a trap. It would force her to step back into the lion's den, risking the very secret she had spent years guarding. The delicate balance she had maintained was about to tip. As she kissed Leo's forehead, a shiver ran down her spine, a premonition of the storm to come. She whispered a promise to the sleeping boy, vowing that no matter what happened, she would never let him go. But deep down, she feared that fate had other plans that would bring her face to face with the one man she never wanted to see again. The reunion was inevitable, looming over them like a dark cloud charged with lightning. Desperation has a way of blinding us to the obvious, leading us down paths we swore would never travel. When Victoria saw the job listing for a cleaning staff position at a massive holding company, she didn't connect the dots. She just saw a paycheck that could keep the lights on and food in the fridge. It was a cruel twist of fate that led her straight into the belly of the beast Connor's vast corporation. She walked through the glass doors, unknowingly stepping back into the billionaire romance narrative she had escaped, bringing her secret baby's future dangerously close to the edge. The irony was palpable. She was now scrubbing the floors of the empire her son was born to inherit. Every day she entered the building, she was playing a dangerous game of Russian roulette with her past. She kept her head down, wearing a uniform that made her invisible to the suits rushing by. It was a humbling experience, filled with a quiet family drama that only she was aware of. She was a single mom undercover, hiding a hidden heir in plain sight, fueled by the terrifying need to survive. Work became a series of near misses and heart-stopping moments where she thought she saw a familiar face. The anxiety was a constant hum under her skin, a reminder of the shocking truth she was concealing. If you were in her position, would you run at the first sign of danger or stay for the paycheck? Victoria stayed, her unconditional love for Leo outweighing her fear of Connor. She told herself he would never notice her, that the CEO didn't look at the cleaning lady. But destiny is rarely so obliging, often pushing us toward the very collisions we try to avoid. She found herself working on the executive floors more often, a change in schedule that felt like karma tightening the noose. The scent of the place, the expensive cologne and crisp air, brought back memories of a lost love she had buried deep. It was heartbreaking to be so close to the life she could have had, yet be so far removed from it. She saw Connor's name on plaques and documents, a ghostly reminder of the man who unknowingly held her fate in his hands. The plot twist was in motion, silent and inevitable. One evening, while polishing a conference table, she overheard executives discussing the air problem. Her blood ran cold as she realized just how high the stakes were. Connor wasn't just rich, he was desperate. This new information changed everything, adding a layer of imminent threat to her daily grind. She wasn't just hiding a child anymore, she was hiding the solution to a billion-dollar crisis. The fear of betrayal off being found out and having Leo ripped away became a living, breathing thing. Despite the danger, she couldn't afford to quit. The medical bills for Leo's asthma were mounting, and this job offered benefits she couldn't find elsewhere. She was trapped in a web of her own making, caught between survival and exposure. She prayed for anonymity, for the ability to remain a ghost in the machine. But the universe demands balance, and secrets of this magnitude have a way of bursting into the light. The countdown to the reunion had begun, ticking away with every swipe of her cleaning cloth. As she clocked out that night, she felt a heavy sense of foreboding. The gap between her two worlds was closing, the thin veil of secrecy wearing thin. She didn't know it, but the next day would bring a collision that would change everything. Fate was done being subtle. It was time for the players to meet on the stage, ready or not. The regret of the past was about to crash into the desperate reality of the present. It was take your child to work day, a PR stunt Connor usually avoided like the plague. But today, he was cornered into participating. The lobby was chaotic, filled with chatter and laughter, a stark contrast to his usual sterile environment. As he moved through the crowd, his eyes landed on a boy sitting quietly in the corner, sketching on a notepad. There was a magnetic pull, an inexplicable connection that stopped Connor in his tracks. It wasn't just a rich dad looking at a random kid, it was a soul-deep recognition that defied logic, a hint of destiny at play. He approached the child, drawn by a gravity he couldn't name. The boy looked up, and Connor felt the breath leave his lungs. Those eyes, they were his eyes. It was a shocking truth staring him in the face, though his rational mind refused to accept it. "What are you drawing?" Connor asked, his voice softer than anyone in the office had ever heard. The boy showed him a complex sketch of the building structure, displaying a spatial awareness that was uncanny. It was a moment of unconditional love springing from nowhere, a plot twist in his emotionally barren life. For a brief moment, the noise of the lobby faded, leaving just the two of them in a bubble of connection. Connor felt a pang of regret for the family life he had sacrificed, realizing how empty his achievements felt compared to this simple interaction. What is the word for missing something you never knew you had? That specific ache was throbbing in his chest. He didn't know this was his hidden heir, his secret baby, but his heart was already claiming the boy. It was a billionaire romance trope coming to life, but with real, raw stakes. Leo, the boy said, extending a small hand with seriousness that mirrored Connor's own business demeanor. Shaking that small hand felt like sealing a deal with the universe. Connor found himself smiling, a genuine expression that felt foreign on his face. He wanted to know more, to understand why this child felt like a missing piece of himself. The family drama he was embroiled in seemed miles away, replaced by this sudden, intense curiosity. It was a glimpse of redemption, a chance to feel human again. But the moment was fragile. Connor noticed the boy's clothes were worn, his shoes scuffed signs of a struggle he knew nothing about. A flash of protective anger surged through him. Who was failing this brilliant child? He didn't realize he was judging the single mom who was doing her best to keep that boy fed and clothed. He was unknowingly criticizing the very love story of survival that had kept Leo safe. Karma was laughing in the background, setting him up for a fall. He handed his business card to the boy, a ridiculous gesture for a child, but he wanted to maintain the link. "Tell your mother she's raising a talented young man," Connor said, unaware that he was sending a message to the lost love he thought had forgotten. The connection was made, the spark lit. The betrayal of time and silence was about to be challenged by the undeniable bond of blood. As he walked away, Connor couldn't shake the image of the boy. It haunted him, lingering in the back of his mind like a melody he couldn't quite place. He returned to his office, but the view from the top suddenly seemed less impressive. He looked into the future, and it had looked back at him with his own eyes. The reunion was inching closer, and the collision course was now locked in. Victoria's heart hammered against her ribs like a trapped bird when she saw the interaction from across the lobby. Panic, cold and sharp, flooded her veins. She recognized the tilt of Connor's head. The way he stood it was a father of her secret baby, dangerously close to the truth. She didn't see a tender moment, she saw a threat. She saw a rich dad with the power to crush her and take everything she lived for. Her instinct was primal hide, run, protect. It was a heartbreaking moment of fear overriding reason. She rushed forward, keeping her head down, her face obscured by her hair, and snatched Leo's hand, pulling him away with an urgency that startled the boy. "We have to go, Leo. Now," she whispered, her voice trembling. She was terrified that the shocking truth was written on her face, that Connor would turn around and recognize his lost love in the terrified cleaning lady. It was a scene straight out of a family drama, but the stakes were her entire world. She felt the weight of betrayal not by Connor, but by the universe for allowing this to happen. Hiding in the supply closet, clutching Leo to her chest, Victoria tried to steady her breathing. Be honest with you have the courage to face him, or would you run to save your child? Her fear wasn't irrational. She knew Connor's resources. If he wanted the hidden heir, he could bury her in legal paperwork and take Leo before she could blink. She was a single mom against a titan. It was a fight she couldn't win. This wasn't a billionaire romance. It was a survival horror. Leo looked at her with confused eyes. "Mom, that man was nice. He liked my drawing." The innocence in his voice broke her heart. She couldn't tell him that the nice man was the source of their struggle and potentially their greatest danger. She had to lie, to weave a new layer of deception to protect the unconditional love that held them together. "We just can't be here, Leo. It's not safe." She felt the crushing weight of regret for taking this job, for tempting fate so recklessly. She peeked out, ensuring the coast was clear, before hustling Leo out the back exit. Every step felt like walking on broken glass. She knew she had to quit, to disappear again, but the financial reality was a shackle she couldn't break. She was trapped in a plot twist that was tightening around her neck. The karma of keeping such a massive secret was coming back to collect, and the price was her peace of mind. Back in the safety of their small apartment, the adrenaline crashed, leaving her exhausted and weeping. She realized she couldn't run forever. Connor had seen him. The connection had been made. Even if he didn't know yet, the bond was there, a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. She felt a profound sense of betrayal by life itself. Why couldn't she just live in peace? Why did destiny insist on dragging them back into Connor's orbit? She held Leo tight that night, afraid to let go, afraid that the next time she looked up, he would be gone. She was preparing for a war. She didn't have the weapons to fight. She needed a plan, a way to navigate this redemption arc that felt more like a damnation. But for now, fear was the only pilot, steering her ship through the stormiest seas she had ever known. Days later, Connor found himself observing the cleaning staff from his balcony, a habit born of restlessness. He spotted the woman from the lobby, though he didn't recognize her, as Victoria, yet struggling with a heavy cart and a tired child waiting by the service elevator. He saw a frazzled single mom looking worn and defeated, instead of empathy. His initial reaction was judgment. In his world of efficiency and success, her struggle looked like a lack of discipline. He didn't see the unconditional love driving her. He saw a problem to be managed. It was a classic rich dad blind spot. He watched as she handed the boy a cheap, packaged sandwich, her face etched with exhaustion. Why bring a child to a place like this? He muttered to himself, oblivious to the fact that childcare costs were a luxury she couldn't afford because of the wages he paid. It was a heartbreaking irony the architect of her poverty was judging her for living in it. He was looking at his own secret baby and seeing only an inconvenience. The shocking truth was right there, hidden behind his prejudice and privilege. But as he continued to watch, something unsettled him. He saw the way she gently wiped a crumb from the boy's cheek, the way she smiled at him despite the fatigue in her eyes. It was a flash of humanity that pierced his corporate armor. What one word describes the strength it takes to smile when you're breaking inside? Connor felt a twinge of something uncomfortable: guilt, regret. He pushed it down, categorizing her as just another sad story in a city full of them. He had a hidden heir to find. He didn't have time for the cleaning lattice family drama. He turned away, focusing back on his search for a successor, completely missing the plot twist unfolding below him. He was searching the globe for a bloodline that was sitting in his own basement eating a ham sandwich. The betrayal here was self-inflicted. His arrogance was blinding him to the destiny that was trying to flag him down. He judged her choices without knowing he was the reason she had so few options. It was a tragedy of perception. Later, he mentioned the unprofessionalism of the staff to his assistant, a comment that would trickle down and make Victoria's life even harder. He was unknowingly tightening the screws on the woman he once loved, acting the villain in his own love story. Karma was taking notes, preparing to serve him a heavy dose of reality. He thought he was a hero of his narrative, seeking redemption for his legacy, but in this moment, he was the antagonist. Yet, the image of the boy Leo stuck with him, the kid from the lobby, the realization that the unprofessional woman was the mother of the brilliant child confused him. How could such potential come from such apparent disarray? It challenged his worldview. He felt magnetic pull to intervene, to save the boy from what he perceived as a limited future. He was getting closer to the reunion, but his motives were all wrong, tainted by the very arrogance he needed to shed. The stage was set for a collision of worlds. Connor's judgment was about to be shattered by the truth. He was walking toward a precipice, and when he fell, he would realize that the woman he looked down on was the only one who had ever stood tall. The billionaire romance was about to get very real and very messy. The office grapevine is faster than fiber optics, and soon whispers began to circulate about the little genius in the cleaning crew. Leo, bored while waiting for his mom, had started fixing glitches in the junior analyst spreadsheets and doodling architectural improvements on discarded blueprints. His mind worked exactly like Connor's mix of analytical brilliance and creative vision. It was a hidden heir revealing himself through sheer talent. The staff noticed the uncanny resemblance in logic, sparking rumors of a secret baby that spread like wildfire. One afternoon, a VP found Leo correcting a structural equation on a whiteboard. The man was stunned. The method, the handwriting. Even the way Leo tapped the marker against his chinit was a carbon copy of the CEO. "He's a mini Hughes," someone whispered in the break room. The shocking truth was no longer a secret kept by Victoria. It was becoming office folklore. The family drama was leaking out, threatening to become a public spectacle. If you saw a child who was a clone of your boss, would you speak up or stay silent? Connor heard the rumors. Initially, He dismissed them as idle gossip, but curiosity got the better of him. He requested to see the whiteboard. Staring at the equations, a chill ran down his spine. It was his handwriting. It was his logic. It was impossible. Yet there was undeniable proof of a love story that had left a permanent mark. The rich dad in him recognized the asset the man in him felt a tremor of destiny. This wasn't just a smart kid, this was a genetic echo. He demanded to know who the child was. When he was told it was a cleaning ladder son, the pieces started to click, but the picture they formed was terrifying. Could it be? The regret he had buried began to surface, mixed with sudden, fierce hope. If this child was his, the plot twist he needed had arrived, but it also meant he had a son who was growing up scrubbing floors. The thought brought a wave of betrayal that he hadn't known, that he hadn't been there. The office was buzzing. People were looking at Victoria differently, now some with pity, some with suspicion. She felt the eyes on her, the shift in the atmosphere. She knew the hidden heir was no longer hidden. Her worst nightmare was unfolding. Her secret baby was being claimed by the world she hated. She tried to rush Leo out faster, but the net was closing. Karma was forcing the truth into the light, ready or not. Connor found himself obsessing over the boy's traits. The way he frowned when he concentrated. The specific talent for number sit was a paternity test without the needle. He felt a surge of possessiveness. If this boy was his, he belonged in the boardroom, not the basement. He was ready to claim his redemption, but he was still thinking like a CEO acquiring a company, not a father embracing a son. He was missing the heart of the equation, unconditional love. The rumors reached the ears of those who wished Connor ill, specifically a rival who had been waiting for a weakness to exploit. The shocking truth of Leo's existence wasn't just a miracle for Connor, it was a weapon for his enemies. The billionaire romance was about to turn into a battlefield. The reunion was imminent, but it would happen under the glare of public scrutiny and the threat of destruction. Enter Sheila, a high-ranking executive with eyes on the CEO chair and a heart colder than the office AC. She had watched Connor's frantic search for an heir with glee, hoping for his failure, but the rumors of the hidden heir threatened her plans. She dug into the cleaning lattice background, and what she found was Dynamite Victoria Thompson, a former flame from Connor's past. Sheila spun the narrative instantly. This wasn't a love story, it was a con. She decided to paint Victoria not as a struggling single mom, but as a manipulative gold digger hiding a secret baby for leverage. Sheila watched Victoria from afar, her gaze predatory. She saw the fear in Victoria's eyes and mistook it for guilt. She's playing the long game. Sheila whispered to a colleague, planting the seeds of betrayal. She gathered evidence, the timing of the birth, the silence, the sudden appearance in the company. She was crafting a family drama script designed to humiliate Victoria and alienate Connor from his son before they could even connect. It was a cruel, calculated move driven by karma's dark side. Victoria, unaware of the sharks circling her, was just trying to survive the week. She felt the hostility increasing, the whispers stopping when she entered a room. She sensed a plot twist coming but couldn't see the direction. She was protecting her unconditional love, her son, while Sheila was preparing to turn him into a scandal. Check your pulse. How angry does it make you when people twist the truth for power? The injustice was suffocating. Sheila prepared a dossier, leaked photos, and a narrative that would destroy Victoria's reputation. She planned to reveal the shocking truth at the worst possible moment, ensuring maximum damage. She wanted Connor to feel regret for ever trusting his heart. She wanted him to see Victoria not as a mother, but as a threat to his empire. It was the antithesis of a billionaire romance. It was corporate warfare with a child as collateral damage. The tension in the office was palpable. Connor was distracted, investigating the boy on his own, while Sheila was setting the trap. She knew Connor's trigger points, his fear of being used, his pride as a rich dad. She was going to hit them all. She was betting on Connor's cynicism winning over his hope. She was gambling with destiny, confident she could rig the game. Victoria felt the walls closing in. A strange woman, Sheila, had asked Leo questions in the hallway, asking about his dad. Victoria had panicked, pulling Leo away. She knew they were being hunted. The heartbreaking reality was that her silence, meant to protect Leo, was now being used as a weapon against her. She was about to be exposed, not as a hero, but as a villain. The storm was about to break. Sheila's plan was in motion, a guided missile aimed at the fragile bond forming between father and son. The reunion was going to be a public execution of Victoria's character. Redemption seemed further away than ever as the machinery of malice geared up to crush the humble life Victoria had built. The charity gala was meant to be a celebration of the Hughes empire, but Sheila turned it into a slaughter. With the press watching and the board present, she took the microphone and dropped the bomb. She revealed the existence of the hidden heir, projecting photos of Leo and Victoria on the giant screens. But she twisted the knife to meet the woman who hid the heir to the empire, waiting for the highest bidder. It was a shocking truth delivered with venom. The room gasped. Connor froze, his eyes locking onto the screen, seeing his secret baby exposed to the world. Victoria, who had been ordered to work the event as staff, stood paralyzed in the shadows. Her worst nightmare was unfolding in high definition. She wasn't seen as a protective single mom. She was being branded a schemer in a twisted family drama. The flashbulbs popped like gunfire, blinding her. She wanted to scream, to defend her unconditional love, but her voice died in her throat. The betrayal was public, humiliating, and devastating. Connor's face went from shock to a mask of cold fury. He listened to Sheila's narrative that Victoria had kept the boy's secret to blackmail him later. It played into every insecurity he had. As a rich dad, he felt played. The connection he felt with the boys suddenly felt like a trap. How would you react? With trust or suspicion? In that heated moment, Connor chose suspicion. The plot twist had shattered his hope, replacing it with a burning sense of regret. The crowd murmured, judging the woman in the maid's uniform. They didn't see the years of struggle. They saw a billionaire romance gone wrong. Victoria grabbed Leo, who was terrified by the noise and lights, and tried to flee. But the security, acting on the tension, blocked her path. She was trapped, a rabbit in a den of wolves. The heartbreaking look on Leo's face confusion, and fear broke her more than the accusations. Sheila smirked, thinking she had won. She had exposed the scam. But she didn't understand the bond of blood. While Connor was angry, he was also looking at his son. The destiny that brought them together was stronger than Sheila's lies, even if Connor couldn't see it yet through the red mist of rage. He saw his own face in the crying boy on the screen. Karma was messy, but it was working. "Bring her to me," Connor commanded, his voice cutting through the noise. It wasn't a request for a reunion. It was a summon for a trial. He wanted answers. He wanted his property. The public accusation had forced his hand. He was going to claim his heir, and he was going to destroy the woman who hid him. Or so he thought. The night ended in chaos, with Victoria and Leo escorted away not as guests, but as suspects. The lost love was now a public enemy. Connor stood alone again, but this time he had a target. The battle for custody, for the truth, and for redemption had officially begun, and it promised to be brutal. The confrontation in Connor's office was suffocating. Connor paced like a caged tiger, his fury radiating in waves. "You hit him," he spat, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "You hid my son, my hidden heir." He looked at Victoria not with the eyes of a former lover, but with the cold, hard stare of a rich dad who had been robbed. He felt a profound betrayal, convinced by Sheila's lies that Victoria was using the boy as a pawn. The love story was dead. This was business. Victoria stood her ground, trembling but fierce. "I hid him to protect him from this," she cried, gesturing to the cold luxury around them, "from people who call it child property." But Connor was deaf to her pleas. He was blinded by the shocking truth that he had missed years of his son's life. He slammed his hand on the desk. "I want custody. Immediate. So, you are unfit." The words hung in the air, heartbreaking and final. He was wielding his power like a bludgeon, unaware he was destroying his chance at redemption. "You can't just take him," Victoria sobbed, the single mom fighting for her life. "He doesn't know you. You're a stranger." Connor scoffed. "I'm his father. I'm the one who can give him the world. You gave him." "What? A mop?" The cruelty of his words was a defense mechanism, a wall against the regret threatening to swallow him. He was trying to buy his way out of the family drama. treating Leo like an acquisition. Is money a substitute for presents? Yes or no? Connor was betting everything on yes. He slid a legal document across the desk. Sign this, and you'll be compensated. Fight me, and it'll destroy you in court. It was the ultimate plot twist in their relationship. A man she once loved was now her executioner. Victoria looked at the paper, seeing her unconditional love being reduced to a transaction. She felt a surge of nausea. This was the toxic world she had run from. I want sign, she whispered. He's not for sale. Connor's eyes narrowed, then prepare to lose everything. He didn't see the mother protecting her cub. He saw an obstacle. Karma was poised to teach him a painful lesson about value versus worth. He was winning the battle, but losing the war for his son's heart. The air was thick with unsaid words and broken promises. Connor looked at the secret baby's photo on his desk stolen from her file and felt a confusing mix of pride and anger. He wanted the boy. He needed the heir. But deep down, he was terrified he didn't know how to be a dad. He was projecting his fear as anger, targeting the only person who actually knew how to love the boy. Victoria left the office broken but unresolved. She knew the legal machine was coming for her. She was facing the full might of a billionaire romance turned sour. But as she walked out, she vowed to fight. Destiny might have brought them back together, but she wouldn't let it tear her family apart. The reunion had been a disaster. Now came the war. The legal battle was a massacre. Connor's lawyers were sharks, tearing into Victoria's life with ruthless precision. They painted her poverty as negligence, her secrecy as malice. In the courtroom, she wasn't the devoted single mom, she was the unstable woman who denied a child his birthright. It was a heartbreaking spectacle of justice being bought. Victoria sat alone, her cheap suit a stark contrast to the armada of suits on Connor's side. The rich dad was winning not by truth, but by force. Every past struggle was weaponized. A late utility bill became proof of instability. Her job as a cleaner was used to argue she couldn't provide a stimulating environment for a genius child. The hidden heir needed the best schools, the best doctors, things only Connor could provide. The judge, swayed by the dazzle of the Hughes empire and the narrative of the secret baby being deprived, began to lean Connor's way. The shocking truth was that the system was rigged for the powerful. Victoria felt her world crumbling. She looked at Connor across the aisle, hoping to see a flicker of the man she knew. But his face was stone. He was convinced he was saving the boy. He didn't see the betrayal in Leo's eyes when the boy was told he might have to leave his mom. The family drama was tearing the child apart, but the adults were too busy fighting to notice. What's the one word for the feeling of screaming when no one can hear you? Victoria was living it. The gavel fell like a guillotine. Temporary custody awarded to Connor Hughes. Victoria let out a cry that silenced the room. It was the sound of a heart ripping in half. She was stripped of her rights, humiliated, and left with nothing. The plot twist was complete. The villain had won. She watched helplessly as they prepared to take Leo away. The unconditional love she gave wasn't enough against the weight of a checkbook. Connor felt a surge of victory, but it tasted like ash. He had won, but as he looked at Victoria's shattered form, he felt a prick of regret. Was this what redemption looked like? Destroying the mother to save the son? He pushed the doubt away. He had his heir. He had secured the legacy. But at what cost? Karma was watching, waiting for the moment he would realize that a child isn't a trophy. Leo was dragged into the world of limousines and penthouses, kicking and screaming for his mother. It wasn't a reunion. It was a kidnapping sanctioned by the state. Victoria stood on the courthouse steps, empty-handed, watching her reason for living drive away. She had lost a love story, lost a battle, and seemingly lost her destiny. But rock bottom is where the foundation is built. Victoria wiped her tears. She had been cornered, yes. Humiliated, yes. But she wasn't dead. And as long as she had breath, she wouldn't stop fighting for her son. The billionaire romance was over. The mother's crusade had just begun. The silence in the penthouse was different now. It was filled with the sullen, heavy presence of a child who didn't want to be there. Connor had his hidden heir, but Leo refused to speak to him. The boy sat in a room filled with the most expensive toys money could buy, ignoring them all to stare out the window. Connor tried to engage him with gadgets, with promises of the future, acting the part of the rich dad, but Leo remained unimpressed. The shocking truth hit Connor. Hard as money meant zero to this kid. "Why don't you play with the drone?" Connor asked, frustrated. Leo turned, his eyes red from crying. "My mom made me a castle out of cardboard boxes. It was better." The words cut Connor deep. He realized that Victoria hadn't just kept the boy alive, she had filled him with imagination and unconditional love. The single mom he had destroyed in court had built a human being far richer in spirit than Connor had ever been. It was a heartbreaking revelation of his own poverty of character. Over the next few days, Connor witnessed the boy's habits. Leo folded his clothes neatly, said please and thank you to staff, and drew pictures of his mom constantly. He was kind, gentle, and brilliant traits he hadn't inherited from the Hughes side of the family. Connor realized with a jolt of regret that these were Victoria's imprints. She had raised a prince in a pauper's home. The family drama narrative he had been sold that she was unfit was a lie. One night, Connor found Leo crying in his sleep, whispering for his mom. Connor sat by the bed, feeling utterly helpless. He reached out to pat the boy's back, and Leo flinched. That flinch was a betrayal more painful than any business loss. It showed Connor that to his son, he was the monster. He wasn't the hero of a billionaire romance. He was the villain who stole the princess. Karma was sitting on his chest, heavy and suffocating. He began to read the letters Victoria sent, letters his lawyers told him to burn. They weren't angry. They were filled with love for Leo, reminders to brush his teeth, to be brave. No demands for money, no threats. Just pure, unconditional love. Connor realized he had been wrong about everything. The plot twist wasn't that he found an heir, it was that he realized he didn't deserve him. "You're not like her," Leo said one evening over a silent dinner. "She smiles with her eyes. You don't smile at all." The truth from the mouth of a child shattered Connor's ego. He saw the destiny he had forced into existence was hollow. He had the boy, but he didn't have his heart. And he realized he never would, not as long as he kept him from the source of his light. Connor sat alone in his study, the legal victory feeling like a death sentence. He had won his secret baby, but in doing so, he had lost his humanity. He needed to fix this. He needed redemption, not for his company, but for his soul. The journey from boss to father was just beginning, and it started with admitting he was the one who was lost. Haunted by Leo's words and the disconnect he felt, Connor decided to dig deeper not into Victoria's bank accounts, but into the past. He accessed the old security logs and private emails of his parents, searching for the reason his lost love had vanished years ago. What he found was a shocking truth that made his blood run cold. He discovered emails from his mother to Victoria, threats that were vicious and clear: disappear, or we will ruin you. Connor has a destiny, and you are not part of it. It wasn't a betrayal by Victoria. It was a sacrifice. He watched old security footage. He had never seen his father cornering a pregnant Victoria, handing her a check which she tore up in his face. She hadn't run to hide the hidden heir for leverage. She ran to save the baby from the toxic cruelty of the Hughes clan. She chose poverty to protect Leo's soul from the very environment Connor was now forcing him into. The realization was a gut punch. The family drama wasn't Victoria's fault. It was his legacy sin. Connor slumped in his chair, the weight of regret crushing him. He had persecuted the woman who saved his son. He had called her a gold digger when she was the only one who hadn't been bought. If you realized you were the villain in someone else's story, how would you fix it? Connor felt the shame burn through him. The rich dad persona crumbled, revealing a man who had been a puppet of his parents' ambition. He looked at the legal papers on his desk to custody order he had fought so hard for. It now looked like a warrant for his own arrest. He had dragged Leo back into the snake pit Victoria had escaped. The plot twist was sickening. He was continuing the cycle of abuse he thought he was above. Karma had led him to the truth, and it was ugly. He went to Leo's room and watched the boy sleep. He saw the innocence he was endangering. Victoria had been the shield, and he had torn it away. He realized that the unconditional love she gave Leo was the only thing that kept the boy from becoming another cold, broken Hughes. She was the hero of this love story. He was just the obstacle. The rage he felt toward Victoria evaporated. replaced by a profound respect and a desperate need for redemption. He had to make this right. He couldn't just be the biological father. He had to be a man worthy of that title. And that meant admitting he was wrong to the whole world. He picked up the phone, not to call his lawyers, but to call off the dogs. He needed to find Victoria, not to conquer her, but to beg for forgiveness. The reunion had to be rewritten. The secret baby needed his mother, and Connor realized with a start that he needed her too. The billionaire romance was about to become a plea for salvation. Connor stood in the rain outside Victoria's small apartment building. Stripped of his entourage, his drivers, and his arrogance, he held the custody papers in one hand and an umbrella he wasn't using in the other. He looked like a man undone. When Victoria opened the door, she looked ready to fight, but the sight of the broken rich dad stopped her. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice cracking. 2 words that carried the weight of years of regret. He handed her the papers. "He's yours." He always was. Victoria stared at him, the rain soaking his expensive suit. It was a shocking truth she hadn't expected. "I saw the tapes," Connor confessed. Looking down, "I saw what my parents did. I know why you ran." The admission hung in the air, dissolving the anger between them. He wasn't the CEO demanding a hidden heir anymore. He was a father admitting he was lost. This was the turning point of their love story, the moment redemption became possible. "I don't want to take him," Connor continued, tears mixing with the rain. "I just want to know him. I want to learn. From you." It was a surrender. The family drama ended not with a bang, but with a plea. He acknowledged her role as the true guardian of their secret baby. He validated her struggle as a single mom, checking how does it feel to see the mighty fall to their knees for love. It was heartbreaking and beautiful. Victoria hesitated, her protective instincts warring with the pain in his eyes. She saw the change. She saw the unconditional love trying to break through his conditioning. She stepped aside and let him in. It wasn't full forgiveness yet, but it was a start. It was a plot twist where mercy triumphed over justice. Inside, Leo ran to his mother, burying his face in her shirt. Connor watched, standing awkwardly by the door. But then, Leo looked at Connor. "Did you bring the drone?" he asked tentatively. A small, fragile bridge. Connor smiled, a real smile this time. "I left it at the office. But I can learn to make a cardboard castle." It was the right answer. Karma was giving him a second chance. They sat on the floor, the billionaire and the cleaner, watching their son. Connor listened as Victoria explained Leo's routine, his fears, his dreams. He took notes, not for a file, but for his heart. He realized that being a father wasn't about genetics or money, it was about presence. He was resigning from his role as boss to apply for the internship of dad. The betrayal of the past began to fade, replaced by a tentative hope. Connor promised to protect them, not control them. He vowed to shield them from the toxic world he ruled. The reunion was quiet, private, and profoundly healing. The destiny of the Hughes legacy was shifting from power to people. The press conference was called to announce the resolution of the HEIR situation. Sheila stood by the podium, looking smug, expecting Connor to announce his victory and Victoria's defeat. But Connor stepped up to the mic with a different energy. He looked at the cameras, then at Sheila, and finally at Victoria, who stood nervously by his side, holding Leo's hand. He was about to drop the ultimate shocking truth. "There's been a lot of speculation about my son and his mother." Connor began, his voice steel. "Narratives have been spun about gold diggers and secrets." He locked eyes with Sheila. "Those narratives are lies." The room went silent. The rich dad was going off script. "The truth is, Victoria Thompson is the only reason my son is the incredible human being he is. She didn't hide him for leverage. She protected him from a toxic environment that I was too blind to see." He turned to Victoria, offering his hand. "She is not a stain on this company's reputation. She is the standard we should all aspire to. She is the definition of unconditional love and integrity." The flashbulbs erupted, capturing a look of shock on Sheila's face, the plot twist she never saw coming. Connor was publicly dismantling the family drama and rewriting it as a tribute to the single mom. "I am the one who needs to earn my place in their lives," Connor declared to the world, not the other way around. "My wealth is not in this building. It's standing right here." He lifted Leo into his arms. The image of the billionaire embracing his hidden heir and the maid went instantly viral. It was a climax of the love story, the moment of redemption broadcast live. Sheila tried to intervene, but Connor cut her off. "You're fired," he said, off mic, but loud enough for the front row to hear. Karma had arrived. The rival who sought to destroy them was escorted out, her plan backfiring spectacularly. The betrayal was avenged. Victoria felt a weight lift off her shoulders. She wasn't the villain anymore. She was vindicated. She looked at Connor and saw not the man who abandoned her, but the man who stood up for her. The regret in his eyes was gone, replaced by pride. They stood together, a united front against the world. The headlines changed instantly. The billionaire's heart, the mother who saved the heir. The public loved it. The billionaire romance was the talk of the town, but for Connor and Victoria, it was just the beginning of healing. They had survived the storm. Destiny had tested them, and they had passed. Months later, the scene was very different. No cameras, no boardrooms. Just a quiet park where they had first met years ago. The leaves turning gold in the autumn light. Connor, Victoria, and Leo were walking together, a real family forged in fire. The hidden heir was now just a happy kid, chasing squirrels. The rich dad was just a dad, wearing jeans and looking more relaxed than he had in decades. Connor stopped Victoria by the old oak tree. "I used to think my legacy was a skyline," he said, taking her hands. "But I was broke until I found you again." The love story had come full circle. He got down on one knee, not with a flashy diamond the size of a skating rink, but with a simple, elegant ring that matched your style. "I don't want to just be Leo's father. I want to be your partner. I want to spend the rest of my life making up for the regret of the years we lost." Victoria looked at him, tears streaming down her face. She saw the man who had fought his own demons to be worthy of them. She saw the redemption he had earned. "Yes," she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. "Yes, it was the ultimate plot twist. The cleaning lady became the queen, not because of his money, but because of her heart." Leo ran over, seeing them hugging. "Are we a team now?" he asked. "Forever," Connor promised, hugging them both. The family drama was over. The betrayal, the shocking truths, the pine had all led to this moment of unconditional love. As they walked away, Connor looked back at the city. It was still there, his empire, but it didn't own him anymore. He realized that the secret baby and the single mom had saved him, not the other way around. They were his true wealth. Karma had been kind in the end. The billionaire romance didn't end with a merger, it ended with a marriage. And for the first time in his life, Connor Hughes was truly, undeniably rich. Destiny had fulfilled its promise. The reunion was complete. Connor thought he needed an heir to save his empire, but he actually needed a family to save his soul. It proves that sometimes you have to lose your pride to find your true purpose. True wealth isn't measured in assets or stock prices, but in the unconditional love that waits for you when you come home. If you also believe that redemption is always possible and that love is the strongest force on earth, then you have found your home. Subscribe now and join a community that values the heart over the wallet. Let's make sure this message reaches everyone. Hit that like button to spread this story to the world. Comment below with your honest opinion legacy, or love if you had to choose just one. Which would it be? And share this video with someone who needs to be reminded that second chances are real. And while you are here, know that our channel is a treasure chest of emotional journeys just like this one. Dive into our older videos to discover other unforgettable stories waiting for you. And to ensure you don't miss the incredible tales we still have to tell, turn on that notification bell right now. You won't want to be left out of the next emotion,